only testimony, but it's not, that doesn't make it right. It doesn't say that all of this happened. There's no school reports, there's no police reports, there's no reports from neighbors to say any of that happened. So it's just, and all we want is the truth. That's all we want.
Thank you. So can you explain how her sentence is going to work again and exactly how much time she's actually going to spend in custody before she can go home?
Yeah, so she's been here now for about 10 months. She's going to do an additional 60 days here, which frankly is the time it's necessary to get her to the bed at Belfair. Then she'll do 6 months treatment at Belfair at that campus. After that, she'll be released and just under the supervision and kind of working with the probation department here just to make sure that everything goes right. It's been a traumatic time all the way up till today, and so hopefully the healing will start today. Probation will help her do that. Or leave it to what was said in the courtroom, but in essence, the way she spoke to me that night was so clear that this was a little girl who just needed help. And I just had a feeling that night that she had never gotten a break in her life. That's what I felt. And I felt as though I asked myself, could I walk out of this jail knowing she's going to get potentially flushed through the system? And the answer to that was no. And she needed a break. And she's been given that break. And I look forward, with all the good people around her who are helping her, I look forward to watching all the great things that she can do, because she's a very intelligent and kind young lady. And so I have a great optimism today for her and where she's going to go in her life. The prosecution, the court, the probation, they slow down and they say, wait a second, why did this child do this? And more importantly, what is the best way to help this child? Okay? Nothing good would have come out of just simply sending her off to incarceration for a long period of time. Nothing. It would have been harmful to her and absolutely with no purpose whatsoever. But because everybody slowed down, because all of the experts came in, because all of this was done, we were able to fashion a program for her to follow that's going to help her. And this would help a lot of children. And so I hope that when people are going through similar cases and they say, well, gee, what do we do with this case? I hope that they say, well, wait a second, remember the Bresha Meadows matter, and look what they did there. Maybe we should consider that here.
And the biggest thing is to get Bresha on the road to recovery, so she can go back into the community. And so we're glad with this outcome.
And I know the first time I met you and we talked about this case, you said that she was living a nightmare.
Yes, I do believe her whole 14 years up until this was a nightmare, and her nightmare's over. And again, we're just, moving forward with her in the recovery and, and taking the steps. And hopefully a lot of families, police officers, social services, prosecutors, defense, and everybody, judges, we all continue to learn more and more about domestic violence and how it affects everyone. The outside family that's isolated, the victims that are in it, and the children that witness it.
How important was it to you to have this outpouring of support across the nation?
It was tremendous. We're so grateful. A lot of this stuff that, with her treatment was because of the outpouring of support. We thank, even the Free Bresha campaign and the support from around the world. And I've always thanked Ian Friedman. He did a tremendous job in stepping in this and helping this little girl when we had nothing, we had nobody. So he never let us down from day one, and we are truly grateful for him, and I will always be grateful for him for the rest of my life.
Things they talked about is that he abused Bresha, and we have statements from them that night. He never even spanked her. They made statements that the guns were in Brandon's name because he was a convicted felon. He is no convicted felon. There's no record of him being a convicted felon. Matter of fact, the victims of crime, if he was a convicted felon, would have never paid the family for the funeral. They paid the family for the funeral. We've had to keep our mouths shut. They put a lot of misinformation out all during this that the public has taken into and has taken as fact that weren't actually fact. Had we gone to trial, we really had a chance of what's the truth. And the reason we made this deal is the best interest of the community, and also juvenile court is set up for treatment first. If she had went to the Department of Youth Services, they would have put her in the treatment facility anyway, either Pomegranate or Applewood. So us agreeing to let her go to Belfair is no different than what the Department of Youth Service would have done, just that it would not have been at Belfair. That's the only difference, that they would have put her in a treatment facility. And the thing about it is this, the treatment facility has to say she has to be there a minimum of 6 months when she comes back here, and they can keep her longer than the 6 months.
Do you believe she did live in an abusive home? Even though
Again, you know, they have what was told to us that night, and now it's being told. We'll never know the truth. We just know that they say that agencies failed her, agencies talked to them 2 or 3 different times, and their stories changed then. How can an agency help you if your story changes of what was going on? One of the things that the doctor said up there today was that sometimes kids kill to get their own freedom. And the evidence we would have shown is sometimes that some of the punishments, the time she ran away, was to avoid punishment from her father for something she had done. Okay, so those would have been some things that we would have brought out had we went to trial, and they would have been up to the judge. But did we want to take that chance, knowing that they were changing their story about what they initially said? We have them on tape saying these things, just not rumor. The detectives did a good job of getting them on tape of what they said happened.